I'm going to walk through the mockups that I've come up with for restructuring our merge request page. And I have it in several different views because it's really difficult to look at. Like my first iteration was just cutting and pasting all of the existing elements, and it looked really sloppy and bad, and you can't really figure out what's happening. So I've got a few different ways to show the proposed changes. These are not changes that we're planning on implementing anytime soon. This is just an example of what the merge request page could look like in the future. So I'm going to start with this view. It's just sort of a bunch of rectangles that outline the basic anatomy of our existing merge request. So this is, from what I could tell, looking at the average merge request, this is everything that you see on the overview tab. Everything up top, here's the sidebar, you got your description, all the widgets, some more actions, buttons, all of the activity, and then the comment at the bottom, and that also has, close merge request, other buttons down here. Here I tried to color coordinate what is being changed to help give you a visual. So this is the same page, just with color now. The orange means that the items have been, well, actually, I'll start with red. Red means they've been completely removed. Orange means they have been removed, but also the content is available elsewhere. So the element itself has been removed, but also kind of redesigned. It will be available elsewhere. That just that element is gone. Purple means it's just been moved on the page. And green, which isn't here, means it's kind of a new feature, new-ish. There's only one of those. I'll get to that. So if we take all of these elements, shift them around, we come up with something that looks like this. And I'll show another example later that might help illustrate it. But as you can see, nothing too different. It's still your basic merge request GitLab page. So status title, you'll notice two tabs have disappeared. You only have an overview and changes here. The sidebar has some new things and some things removed. And then the description and timeline have kind of been combined. Widgets are underneath that, or underneath it. Widgets are after all that. And then your comment box, participants could probably be removed. I moved it down to the bottom. I've seen some project management software do something like that. So I don't know what value this has, but I moved it to the bottom for now. It used to be in the sidebar. The widgets being at the bottom has a really big benefit. We hear a lot that the widgets are difficult to find because the description can be any length you want it to be. So basically every merge request you look at, the widgets are in a different place, and developers typically want to see the pipeline status and other information like approvals and that kind of stuff right away. So you'll always be able to scroll right to the bottom. There's your widgets. Other things that are important in my mind to keep in the same spot are the merge request actions. So when you go to merge request and you want to test it locally, that's part of the widgets. So again, it's always in a different place. You never know where you're going to have to scroll to find it. If we put it in the sidebar, it's always going to be in the same spot. So checkout branch, open, and web ID and download have been moved here. Emojis as well. If you want to check the upvotes or downvotes, they're always in the same place. And then labels, I wonder if I should have edited that. The labels, we just show all the labels. I thought maybe we could not minify them, but show maybe just the labels count and add an expansion button or something like that to show all the labels, because from some previous metadata research, we found out that users do not value seeing all the labels at all times. So that's kind of a brief overview of the overview page. Moving on to the files changed page, files tab. This is the basic page. You've got your tabs, the same header stuff, your tree, your compare versions, your actions, and then your change files, and the sidebar, which is the same sidebar that you always see. I have the entire sidebar red because I'd like to remove it on this tab completely. And these items have been removed similar to the overview tab. And then compare changes and these two tabs have been removed, but not really, just the elements have been removed. The content will be available elsewhere. Here is the files tab, no sidebar, so just all the room for the files themselves to do your code review. Have an idea, completely unvalidated, just an idea, to move the commits to here so that you can select a commit to view those changes. Tree actions still in the same spot. I think I have another example of what that could look like. So if we had the commits on the changes tab, it could be something like this, where you you go to the page, you see the most recent commit and the changes. You can expand it to see the commit body, or you can expand the commits and see all of them, and then kind of cycle between them to view the changes. I don't know how this will work. Like, I haven't thought of everything. I just thought maybe that might work. I also forgot to mention the pipelines tab disappeared. The list of pipelines that we currently have doesn't typically fit in that well to developers' workflow, because there isn't really much use case for viewing all of your old pipelines on a given merge request. The most recent is the most important, and that has been validated a couple times in different research studies. So a simple solution, kind of boring and maybe not great, is just put view all pipelines on the pipelines widget. That could bring up a pop-up or an expansion. What do you call that? An accordion or something, if that's something that people still need to see. Otherwise, maybe it could go to the pipelines page or something. I don't know yet, but anyway, the tab might not be that necessary. You can also see a better example of the sidebar. Potentially, here are your actions for checking out the branch and everything. And here's an example of how the labels, 23 labels, is not uncommon in the GitLab project. And that takes up so much space. And I don't know that it's necessarily that useful. And that's been validated in other metadata specific research. But maybe we could add an expansion button where you can see all the labels that have been added. Yeah, I think that's kind of it. So that's the basic proposal. If you want to see it in a different layout, we have this semantic layout of the current merge request page and how each section relates to the page and each other. And then this is the rearranged proposal. It doesn't show me that much, but if you're interested in that, then here's another way of looking at it. Yeah, okay, that's it. Thanks.